Hello, my name is Will, I host The Bald Book Geek. This is another Wheel of Time video, but it's about the comments that I've been receiving on it, and I'm going to pick out two comments in particular, because it's a nice overview of what I've been receiving and the less than nice comments on the video. I do get that you have valid criticism, but I do feel like a lot of people it was just, yeah. So let's start, shall we? Before I get started, we all have different tastes, we all like different books, and I do wish people would realise that, and some people just need to grow up and get over them, and Scott Bishop is a prime example of that. The first comment he said was, I suggest you go back to your Elves and the Walls. If you think Tolkien is the end and be all of fantasy, you are not a fantasy reader. Your opinion is meaningless. Even enough with the Tolkien comparisons, it gets really old. Where do we start with this one? Let's unpack this comment. I know Tolkien is not the end-all and be-all of fantasy. It's not. The fantasy is a very wide-reaching genre. It's got everything in between. Tolkien is just one example of high fantasy that many people have tried to emulate. Tolkien comparison comes through in the Wheel of Time, mostly because there is a lot of Tolkien influence within his work, and Jordan admitted that he was very inspired by Tolkien, and you can definitely feel it. The character relationships, the story, not so much the story, but the character relationships and the whole setup of book one is very Tolkien-esque. And if you watch interviews, you'd be quite surprised to find that. I think I'm surprised, Scott, that you never actually delved into the writer and all of this stuff and actually read his interviews and stuff. I'm genuinely disappointed considering you call yourself a fantasy reader. The next comment is, I don't care that you don't like Wheel of Time, that's your choice. I'm sick and tired of hearing people compare it to just Tolkien, or complain that it's just Tolkien redone. Have you not read the first part of book one? And let's go back to the comment above, what I just said. Jordan was very influenced by Tolkien. Its nearest relative is Tolkien. In pure structure, story style, and even writing style, its nearest relative is Tolkien. You're not exactly going to put this next to Conan, are we? Then the next part of this was, any reader should be able to tell after the first half of the first book Tolkien is gone, unless you believe Tolkien is the ownership of all the common fantasy tropes. Tolkien is very much throughout the series, but also the common fantasy tropes existed pre-Tolkien. They come from countless other myths and legends, from Celtic to Viking to everything in between, and even the Welsh and Irish folklore. They predate Tolkien. Tolkien was just one of the first to put them onto paper. Just put that out there. This is a book about human characters, not some imaginary retelling of a Second World War involving mythical creatures instead of man. Well, I'll give you that one, but this borrows so much from folklore, it's unbelievable. It's Arthurian legend, and Arthurian legend has been reused over and over again, which in itself could necessarily be a nation of war. Arthurian legend isn't original, and at the end of the day, yes, it's about men, but they're men with... A lot of these men have powers and things. I mean, Game of Thrones, I think, does the whole story of man far better. I read Tolkien. I liked it, although I thought I'm not going to attempt to say this, was shite, suitable only for geeks that wanted to learn how to speak Elvish. Oh, you poor, unfortunate child, Scott. You are a moron. How to speak Elvish. That book is, although unfinished, and I do agree it is weak, but it's extremely important. It gives you the backstory. It gives you a lot of backstory, a lot of character moments, a lot of things that don't come into Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit that are important. Without them, it's a good starting point. It's an easy read to get you into the universe. Like I said, I wouldn't have commented if your bad review was actually based on the book, but you start out by saying you hate it. That's intelligence. That is, I can't even say the word, disingenuous. So don't even bother replying. I won't look at any more of your channel. You're safe from me from now on. Well, I am playing a role. I am playing it for laughs. I think you are unaware of maybe sarcasm, or the fact that I am definitely hamming it up a bit, because I'm playing a role. I'm playing someone annoying. I'm playing someone who is playing that role, and that's the point of the character. I'm playing it up for laughs to make it funny. Although if you actually watched my other reviews of my other fantasy novels, and there's some great ones on my channel, by the way, I love fantasy, you're more than welcome. I stand by my review, and Scott, you are a representation of everything else. Also, there's one little bit that just made me laugh. Your reviews stink of superior British elitism. I'm British, darling. Of course I'm superior to you. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't exist. Now that, I'm kidding. That was sarcasm. Learn sarcasm. But yeah, the comments on this video have been a goldmine. This is just an example of it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.